does not fuck smash my door.
Come on, Charles, don't do this.
Pissed off? Is that a bad word?
Christina Aguilera, hi. The X at the end.
You fucking look like rock stars, huh? And now we are a fucking bunch of wanko.
Michael, this is Toto. Can I just send you an email? No, Michael, that was so not right. Sorry, we went car racing.
Welcome to the Prix Formula Fun podcast with a special guest this week, James Keenan. So it's not the three Bs, it's the two Bs and the J. Welcome, James.
BJs.
How's it going?
Good.
Apart
from me being ill, I'm going to throw that out there just so people can
But
hear
I
that.
think that it was the really boring Grand Prix that you stayed up for made you ill.
It was really boring. To be fair.
It was. I've written in the notes like lap 40. Is there still 30 laps to go?
One of the highlights is when fucking Alonso just drove off and his engine backed up. That was it. Shock.
I've got it in the notes. There was a battle for 16th that was pretty interesting until Lance Stroll just went into the pits and then that ended.
Oh yeah. What the hell, man?
I'm just getting all over the place.
What's on the agenda today then? What's the chat?
Well, we've got two news stories, and then we're going to talk through the race because me and James watched it, and then we collaborated on notes.
Yeah. I could see Ben typing as I was typing, and I noticed Boyd wasn't typing anything. What was going
Mate,
on?
I never do anything, mate. I just shut
I
up.
bet he has never written a Google Docs note in his
I'm just
life.
known as the Ferrari guy, mate. That's why I wore the top. So whoever's watching
Hey,
it,
check that out.
whoever's watching out there, mate, is loving it, mate.
Do people know why Brad isn't here?
He went on
They
about
don't-
Star Wars for about
They know
20
he's in
minutes last
Disney
week.
Land.
Oh, okay, fine.
Paris,
I do
mate.
know that. Yeah.
He's
He's in Paris. He's
He
not
has
gone
sent
to
me some
Paris.
pictures of while he's there, but his family don't. Well, I know they're there, but all the pictures are just of him at places.
Probably running
I think
around
he's just
trying to-
ditched them off.
take a picture. Take a picture.
No, I think he might have just ditched them off and gone off on his own.
He's just getting like random Americans to take pictures of him.
Yeah. He's
Can you
loving
take
it,
a
though,
picture of
I
me?
think.
You sound like
He's
you're
probably
from
running
London.
around trying to watch the F1 somewhere and just bin
No,
the
he's not.
family and the kids.
Right, well, I'll go on with the news. It's two bits of news. The first bit of news is that Red Bull, the entire Red Bull Formula One team, is set to boycott Sky Sports after making comments regarding Max Verstappen's 2021 title. Ted Kravitz stated that Lewis Hamilton was robbed of last year's title. And Max has said it had nothing to do with this weekend, but this year has been a constant kind of like digging and being disrespectful, especially from one particular person, Ted Kravitz. You keep disrespecting me. At one point, I'm not tolerating that anymore, so that's why I decided to stop answering. And Lewis Hamilton has said, we should all come off social media.
What comments?
Ted said that he's been digging about Red Bull kind of stealing the title last year because they went over the price cap.
Right.
But my thoughts on this are that Red Bull have done a very Trump-esque kind of way of dealing with this problem. They're just basically just boycotting the news. The Trump is fake news. Fake news.
But
It
they're
would be
not actually
annoying.
doing that, though, are they? They're
It
not.
would be annoying though if someone kept saying to you he was robbed of the title. Like, it would piss me off. Do you know what I mean?
But technically, they did cheat. So
Well, sort
They
of.
did
1.5 million quid cheat.
oh yeah, exactly. But they've kind of given the numbers and they've gone, this is what we spent on. It kind of lines up. They didn't get their R&D fund, like refund and stuff like that. It made it more interesting. It meant Mercedes didn't win another fucking driver's title.
That
Which has
car
been
though,
well
is just a
boring.
joke, mate. Like on the straight yesterday, Perez just went past Leclerc like he wasn't even there, mate. The car
He
is just
wasn't.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
absolutely
According to the
ridiculous.
broadcast, Leclerc and Sainz weren't even there.
Well, yeah, I don't think they were. Apparently, they were saying that his car weren't powered up fully or something. When he was saying, I can't remember. I think
That
Leclerc
sort of
and Sainz
surprises
did
me,
not.
though. Like, I don't see Max Verstappen as the sort of person that actually gets bothered about like tit for tat comments. He's quite robotic, so I'm surprised that bothers him.
I think it does though, because he always does it every time. He goes like, it doesn't matter if we don't win it here or next week, but then when he's in the race, he goes fucking ape shit when he's not in
Yeah, he
first
does.
place or whatever. Like, do you know what I mean? He had a few moans on the radio yesterday about his left front tyre, didn't he?
Yeah, but this is 2021 and it's 2022 now, and he's won it again. So
Yeah, he is the best.
he is the best.
He
How
is
long
the
do you think
best.
he's going to be the best for?
Next
Well-
5, I reckon he'll beat. I want him to beat Hamilton's record of titles.
I don't think he will. I said this the other day. I just think he won't be around long enough. I think he'll get bored in about another 3 years and just go, I've had enough. I'm leaving.
Yeah, because he's mentioned trying other like motorsports, hasn't he? He said that
Yeah.
he'd like to do other things.
Yeah, I don't think he'll stick around long enough to beat.
But surely,
Price.
if you're that good, the whole point is you're that good. You are going to win most races. So you've got to aim for something bigger, which is the record.
Yeah,
Well,
unless
Brad
he's
said
not.
Is it going to just become the Max Verstappen show though now? A bit like Hamilton, like years like in the other ones, isn't it? He's just going to win it every single fucking time.
Yeah.
It's going to get a bit boring.
Something's got to happen because there's no one even come. There's no one touching him.
Like even Sergio, he's second and he's in the same car, but he's still 200 points off him, and he's in the same car. So that's how good this guy is. I mean, I know there's like team orders and stuff that kind of make sure that Max is the favourite.
Sergio
driver.
just needs a new car.
Yeah,
He just needs a new car. Give me the same car.
I thought they would have done him a solid, but like yesterday, and let him kind of try and win it. But I think generally Max is that much better than all of them. It just feels
yeah. What can you do? Like he can't take his foot off the gas. Literally, that
I
much.
reckon if you put Max in the Williams car, he'd still finish in the top like 5 probably.
Yeah. Well, look how fast it is. That Williams is so fast on the straights. If you could actually, as long as you're not Nicholas Latifi, who's my next bit of news.
I thought we dead and buried him.
Mate, but Latifi said that his F1 career is not over, and then he proceeded to. This is in a press conference. He goes, I'm not ruling out another seat next year if someone offers me one. And then he proceeds to moan about F1 cars and saying that Indy cars are better. Because
mate, who's offering him a fucking set? Let's get real. Like Haas maybe at a push. No one wants.
They're
No
not.
way.
No one is.
Go on holiday with your bird in your hot air balloon and just take pictures. when you're on there.
He'd probably be quicker around an F1 track in a hot air balloon.
Like you said, the day he turned off the track and went in the wrong direction, he blamed the car and he went, "Yeah, something didn't feel right." So you still turned down the wrong turn. Like
Put the indicators on.
Yeah, and it was a sharp turn as well. It wasn't like it's pretty.
Yeah, it was. He slowed down, took the turn, and he went, "Oh, for fuck's sake!
Yeah,
this
what a
car."
Like the next season of Drive to Survive, you'll see anything with like the Williams team. You know, like in the last series, when a driver's not doing well, you do get some behind the scenes footage of how the team or the principal feel about that driver. You kind of pick it up.
Yeah.
I wonder whether on the next series you'll get a bit of like the Williams team going.
Oh, you'll get 100%. You'll get that geezer. Who's the geezer? Oh, what's his name? The one that goes, "This could be huge."
Yeah,
Will Buxton. Yeah.
Yeah, him. He'll be going, Latifi's not delivering, and if that's the case, then he will lose his seat. It's 100% going to happen.
Imagine if Nicholas Latifi was your Deliveroo driver.
Fucking hell, mate. You'd be looking at the
It's
map going,
cold.
he just was down my road, now he's gone the other way. Like, do you know what I mean?
just had to do a left.
He's
Why
retired.
are you like
He's
10
DNF.
miles away?
Yeah, blame the
You didn't know you could
moped.
DNF on a delivery.
You'd want Max on Deliveroo, wouldn't you? He's fucking so quick.
Your food would be everywhere though.
Stop.
You wouldn't even be able to get out of the shower
Stop.
in time and he'd be there going, well done, guys. Good week, yeah.
Here's your food, guys.
Yeah, well done, guys.
Yeah, that's the news.
Wow, that's it. There's
Not a lot going on, is there? And
It's not. I find it really hard to find news about F1 that isn't about the race or about Max Verstappen and Red Bull, and anything that isn't, it kind of just feels fake. Like it's all really like, did you hear this about Daniel Ricciardo broke silence? And then you watch it and he goes, he doesn't, and then he says
doesn't
nothing
say that at all.
It's like bullshit.
That's basically every article on the internet now.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you click, you go, what? And then you realise they've just like fused 3 different stories into one to get you to click it. Yeah.
And YouTube thumbnails are all like so misleading. So I just given up now. So I just go to the Formula One website.
What they look like now will make your draw drop.
Exactly.
Ben, can we go back to my little Formula One, my little Ferrari top comment from that guy then? What was the deal then?
We weren't talking about it, and you started the pot. You started it. We were going to talk about your little.
Well, no,
top.
because I see that little number coming. It goes 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then I'd like to try and give a nice intro, but
We don't have to because I can cut the beginning. But I like.
Yeah, but you
the
never cut
preamble
it. It's always
before.
us just going, yeah, it was pissing rain earlier. Yeah, when done with shopping that, and then it goes starts.
Yeah, that's how a podcast starts.
Right, fine.
So what? This guy. So the guy that. Well, I don't know. We don't know who it is, but someone called you Ferrari guy.
And that's
Yeah,
it.
but you said I was brilliant. What I mean, I was.
Why do we have to bring it up? Like it's just a comment.
Can we
It's
just
the
talk
internet.
about that thing earlier where someone was
giving me
saying how good
credit.
I am?
But I'm just saying though, I was flat as fuck last week as well. I don't know what he was. Maybe he laughed at my Le Shack.
Yeah, I
Ask
think
him. Go on YouTube and say what,
just
what
comment
specifically.
back.
What do you like about me?
Yeah, so I could
Hopefully,
do more of
if
it.
he's listening to this week's episode, whoever you are, mate, Good day, mate. Can you let me know what I did that was funny? Because I'll try and keep it up.
Yeah.
Mate,
It
if
can
he
only be one
comments
of
like
about
a
10
list,
people.
oh mate, imagine if he does like a bullet point list of all the things that you did and
Yeah.
time codes them.
Well,
That'd be brilliant because then you can just go and repeat that for a week in, week out.
it won't be very fun then, will it? I've got to mix it up.
Well, then
You've
don't
got
ask
to wear
him
that
what...
top every week now as well.
Well, I do. I wear it everywhere. I literally just. I had a hoodie on. I was like, I've been known as the Ferrari man now, so I've got to fucking wear it.
Ferrari guy. Was it Ferrari guy or Ferrari man?
I think Ferrari guy.
Ferrari guy.
The guy is brilliant.
Right, so
The race.
the race, or more importantly, the grid walk.
Oh yeah, what bundle?
It
Rundle.
was amazing. Well,
It's
it's amazing.
so
again.
good.
It's the best part. Well, when the race is like that, race wasn't. We'll talk about that, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't great. But I just love that grid walk so much because it's almost like I imagine all these PR companies and these management companies on a Monday morning who represent some of those celebrities that are lingering around, who pie off Martin Brundle. On that Monday, they must be all talking to each other, going, for fuck's sake, like Serena Williams ignored him, and they're all talking about it online. But this week, because of the thing that happened last week with Brad Pitt, did you pick up
Miguel.
Martin Brundle said? No, Martin Brundle said, "I've spoken to Brad Pitt this week.
Oh, did
I've
he?
been contacted by him because obviously on the Monday, Brad Pitt's people have gone like you just ignored him and like doesn't look good. So yeah, he's reached out. Apparently, they've had a chat.
Did you see the girl that came up to
Imagine
him
if
as
they
well?
became like best friends.
Who was that?
The girl that come up to Brundle, she went, I need to speak to you. She's like American or something. She went, I just love the fact that Brad didn't want to talk to you, but I do, or something like that.
Yeah,
And I was
Yeah, and he's like, cheers. And then he
Yeah.
went, who are you? And she told
Yeah.
him, and then he went, all right, bye.
She
Where's
was like,
Will I Am?
I'm just here.
he's just sort of standing there. I feel a bit sorry for him, like you said, because he's quite a big name, but I just don't think people realise how sort of quite famous he is.
That's
And he's
just
running
celebs
down-
just being absolute like self-centered pricks. They're going, you can't further my career or do anything good for me, you
Yeah.
little man. Who the fuck are you? You're just a guy with a microphone.
He does awkwardly stand there sometimes. Though. Like he'll talk like Alonso as a friend. He goes, "Let's see if we can get his attention," and he's just staring at him, and he's like,
Alonso's
Alonso's
always so
cocked
nice
him, and he's
to him,
like,
though.
"I'm still going to let him hang for a minute," and then like
Yeah.
you feel a bit like sorry for him. Do you know
I
what
don't
mean?
think he cares at all because I think he's on one hand, if he gets to talk to someone great, but if someone ignores him, it's kind of great as well because everybody talks about it like we are now.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he's amazing. And from the beginning, he was just going on about it from the beginning. He goes, I think Will.i.am's up there. We're going to try and get up there. And we're going to try and talk to Will.i.am because he does it every time, doesn't he? He talks to Will.i.am because
Yeah.
why is he
weird
ever
anyway, isn't he? He's like weirdo.
Oh mate, he was wearing a butcher's hat a couple of weeks ago in Singapore. I don't know what he was. I didn't see him last week, but I'm sure he was there and being a cunt. And this week,
It's dope, mate. It's dope. It's dope.
But I do think it does give you a little bit of an insight into the people that ignore Martin Brundle, even though he's got a microphone, he's got a lanyard on and stuff. I think that's kind of a bit like how they would react to someone in the public who goes up to them and says, "Oh, I love you're a great tennis player," whatever it is. I think it's a bit of a sneak preview to how they would act if you did that. And I think Will.i.am, although he's a bit of a, I think he's probably quite nice to people, even though he's a bit weird.
I think he's very aware of his persona, and I think we're now all aware of his love of engineering and technology, and the love of technology and engineering, but in a sport that is
sport.
Formula
There's
One.
no other sports that have engineering and technology, according to Will.i.am. F1's the only one. So that's why I love
Brundle was an absolute gangster for the guys. Do you think you'll make an F1 song?
Yeah, and he went,
maybe, yeah.
I'm all right for it. I'm not asking you.
F1. I just think if I was famous, I know they get it all the time, but I would if Brundle come up to me and he said that, I'd just go. You just say basic few words and go, look, I'm looking forward to the race. I'm sort of getting behind Lewis.
This is
hope
what
he
you'd
wins.
say,
Like, just
yeah.
to be nice. Do you know what I mean? Like,
But they don't know who. This is the problem. They're walking around. But that's why I'm kind of
think
a bit
Brundle
torn
should walk
between
around
the whole
like big-
thing because I sort of feel like surely the whole reason they've gone and got those pit passes right and they're walking around is because they want to be seen there.
Yeah.
So the best way to do that is talk to Sky Sports, right?
Well, exactly.
I
They're
can't
gonna
work
get
out
more-
if they know that or not, or
yeah.
I don't know.
Unless
Well,
Brundle
Sky
walked around in
Sports
like a
isn't
massive
big in
chicken
America,
outfit or
right?
something.
no, well, yeah.
So
I
I
mean,
guess
he's got
if
a
he had like an
microphone, he's
ESPN
got-
thing, he would.
Yeah. Mind you, Brad Pitt's he's not been in the news for the best stuff recently, has he? That,
Oh, mate,
that
he's a
might be
dick,
why
mate.
he didn't want to talk last week.
Yeah, he's a melt.
Throwing kids around on planes and all that.
Who's that?
Just look
Don't
it up,
worry.
mate.
What?
Don't
Who?
worry about it.
I didn't hear the name.
Brad Pitt.
Oh, has he been throwing a
Brad
kid
Pitt.
around on a plane?
Well, accusations from Angelina Jolie. Apparently, throttled his kid on an aeroplane.
Kids are cunts.
Well, good point. I keep hearing him outside my house trick or treating.
Mick Schumacher mugged off Martin Brundle as well. He went, "I've got to get on the thing," and there he goes, "You got time?" And he went, "No, go in."
Let's see if we can get his attention, shall we? Like, there's like on the toilet having a poo. He's like, let's just see if we can get his attention.
Just
He's
pops
made
under,
out here.
under the other cubicle.
He's
His
just
head pops
wiping.
under
He's
the
just
cubicle.
wiping up. Let's see if we can get
Who's in
a quick
there?
word. How was it? Was it hard or runny?
Well, yeah, and then that led us on to the national anthem,
God.
which James wrote, "Can't make fun of this national anthem." I know.
Yeah, I don't think you can.
I think you can. That was the most aggressive sign language I've ever seen. That kid looked like
They
he
were
was
well
moshing.
into it.
But you know the theme music on the grid when they come up and they start taking, they made it all Mexicaned up.
Yeah,
didn't they?
mariachi.
Really?
It was
Yeah.
brilliant. I think that should be the new F1 theme. The
No,
mariachi.
I
one.
like that song. That's decent.
But before, it must have been before that happened. I heard when Martin Garrix was on the doing
yeah,
the
he's
pit
on the
walk,
decks
right?
later on, wasn't he?
He's on the decks later on. Nickelback somehow involved in
Yeah.
yesterday. They were
Where
playing
were
a
they
song.
then?
It was like a theme tune to one
Yeah.
of the
Like, we're going
one of
down
the bits.
stairs,
It was
The
like,
going
hero
down
can
the
save
burn.
me. I'm not gonna
Chad Kroger.
That might as well be Max diving around
Mate,
the rooftops. He might
that
be
isn't
Spider-Man.
Nickelback. That is Chad Kroger. Feet. The guy from XDNA. Feet. The guy from Saliva. That's from Spider-Man.
yeah.
That is a sick song. That is.
They can change the lyric. I'm so fast, I can hear heaven.
And then there was that, and there was the mariachi version of the F1 theme tune playing as well.
Which is brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Did
that
you see him
was
boo
good.
Hamilton though on the podium bit? That was bad. Even
was
Checo
bad. That
was
was
like that.
bad.
He was like,
No,
Why were they
shouldn't do it.
booing him?
don't know. They just there was
they
quite a
love
lot of boos,
Checo
and Checo was
so
like, that's not
much.
on. Yeah. Weird.
Good of Checo to do that. I also saw a video of Red Bull cheering Lewis as he went through the went over the checkered.
Yeah.
thing. That's nice.
That
I liked this a
grandstand
little
though,
bit,
where
actually.
positioned is quality through that little
Yeah,
bit,
it's
and they
really
sort of
good.
drive like through the middle of it. It's like quite good, but they've come at
They're
slight
all on their
so
phones though.
What? All
They're
the-
all. I mean, I know. Obviously, like when you're there, right? It's amazing. The cars do a couple of laps. You want to get some footage on your phone. Like, every time they cut to the crowd, yesterday, everyone's just like that. They're watching the race
Are they
through
not
their
videoing it
phone.
though? They're trying to film
Yeah,
it.
of course they are. But you're there.
Well, yeah, I know. Yeah, but you
Actually,
get-
watch it.
I was
But they're
at-
like that the whole time.
I was at Lexus on Fire gig the other day, and there was a couple standing there, and they were both filming like
What, the whole concert?
the gig. Yeah, the whole concert.
Mate.
Both of them filming. Like they go, "What you both gonna like exchange notes?" Like, actually, I think you're a bit out of focus on that one. Exposure was off.
There's the worst footage as well. Like whoever watches that afterwards.
I've never
whoever
filmed at a
watches
gig.
that.
Me and Brad went to see Limp Bizkit, and some bloke in front of me kept putting his arms up, and in the filming, I just kept pressing stop on the recorder, and he was getting so angry.
And then you end up searching it on YouTube, going, "Oh, I wonder what this band's like live," and it's all people's phone footage,
Yeah.
and it's all shit.
Yeah.
Pointless.
Or you end up trying to sing, talking to your mate, holding your phone there, thinking you're getting footage, and you just film in the back of someone's show.
Well, I've never filmed a gig.
No, you do.
So.
You do.
You do, Boyd. Yeah, I've
Like
seen
that
that
girl
footage.
at
You
Duran
slowly
Duran
get
Cannon,
back.
remember? Do you want me to film for you? No. All right, fine.
That was amazing. So I can tell this story really quickly. So me and Boyd and Brad were in Ibiza, and Duran Duran played at our hotel, and it was on a night we didn't have anything better to do, so we went to watch Duran Duran, and it was really good. But there was loads of people that had flown over from all over the world to watch them because they don't tour anymore, right? So it must have been a bit of a one-off. And we were there kind of just half watching it, half having a laugh, chatting to people around us. And near the end of the gig, this little woman, she's honestly about 4'5", who was standing behind Boyd, basically said, "Would you mind if you get out of the way for like 1 minute so I can film the band? I've come all the way from America for this." And we were like, "Oh my God, you should have just told us to get out of the way
Like ages
at
ago.
the start."
At the start
We
of
would
the
have got- and then, because she was so small, Boyd didn't leave it at that. He went, "Do you want me to take your phone for you and hold it up higher and get footage?" And she went, "No."
No, so we let her in front of us, and then I could just see her trying to film over more people that were basically the same size as me and James. So I was like,
Yeah,
she's
she
not
wasn't
getting
happy.
anywhere here. So I went, "Do you want? I've got longer arms than you. I'll film it, and she just like gave me the dirtiest look ever.
She was
and then I
not
just
happy.
eviled up on her. I said, I hope she gets no fucking footage now whatsoever.
She just stood
Blown
behind the two 6'2" blokes to watch
Yeah.
her favourite band that she's just travelled all the way from America to see, and we were probably not even watching it, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly that.
Great story.
Gutted.
Good
Back to the
story.
Formula
Next
One.
story.
This is it. Max
First bit of
Verstappen's
drama.
Coke vest. Coke vest.
Oh.
What is it? Ice Fest.
Coke vest, mate. It looked like he had little bags of Coke. Like
That's why he's so quick.
Smuggle them. Yeah, that's it.
Little cooler pack. Is he really that hot? He has to wear.
Hey, it's pretty hot in Mexico at the moment, mate.
No, but those little
And
ice
then-
packs, is that fucking really going to do?
It's better than not having them on, surely.
Well,
Yeah,
I don't know.
especially if you've got to then. Put
Isn't
a
that your
driver's
invention, Boyd?
What, the cooler pack? What was it? It
Is that
was
not what-
within inside the car somewhere, wasn't it? My cooler.
Yeah, his was,
I thought
but
it
his
was
was
the best.
engine coolant that
It
went
was
through
cooler
the suit.
reduction system, wasn't it? Do you remember?
Oh,
I bought it out.
Yeah, what a heat reduction system, wasn't it?
Or something like that. I fucked it. Yeah, I got it completely wrong. Ricardo's always just running around with no ice packs on, with his headphones on, like dancing, doing all that shit. And he,
Well, it seemed to it worked for him yesterday, didn't it?
yeah, he
So
done all right yesterday. Now
yeah,
he's
he's really
leaving.
good.
he was
he was
he,
good,
he
actually.
got driver of the day. I voted for him.
He did
I also
fuck
voted for
Tsunoda over,
Latifi
didn't he?
as well. So that and then the race start. The race has started now, and then Hamilton pushes Russell off.
Well,
Yeah, Russell's
Squeezed him
like
off.
second to fourth in about 30 seconds.
Yeah, and
yeah, Lance Stroll got up like 5 places.
2 places.
Oh, was it? That was a bit exaggerated from me then. Right,
Yeah.
sorry. Yeah.
He said, but Russell said in the post race thing, he went, if it weren't my teammate, I would have barged him off the track,
Yeah.
which he would have done.
Yeah.
I bet he wouldn't have.
He did. He did with Sciencey last week, didn't he? Fucking
I bet
retired
he
him.
wouldn't say it to his face either.
There was nothing. There wasn't even a safety car. Nothing was there. Like there was nothing.
It was a VSC.
Yeah, VS, but like a proper one. Like
yeah,
It was
really
so
short.
boring.
it was just like they all just went through that slow corner through them grandstand bits, round that dead straight. Barely anyone overtook anyone on it, and it was just
The virtual safety car was deployed because Alonso's car just went off, and they got the car off the track so quickly.
Yeah, he couldn't-
And then he was,
yeah.
and then he was just like waving at the crowd, and then he was on the back of a moped again.
the white.
I said to Ben, it's like White Goodman, you know that thing where he goes off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean. I
It's
think
like-
the track's just too. I don't know. It's a weird track.
It was very
like-
short. It's only 119, like 119, 120.
But
with
yeah,
a lap
but I mean
time, so-
that's straight and that. You think there'd be a lot more overtaking? You see a bit more action.
well, they just
but
spread
they
out
weren't.
so quickly. I think that arena, the stadium bit, slows the cars down, but then the straight comes straight out, so it slows everyone down. So everyone just whizzes off DRS and they've gone, and it
I
just
think
spreads
that'd
the
be
crowd.
quite boring to watch in those grandstands though. Like they're all coming around there in a really low speed corner, really slow, isn't it? It'd be quite boring.
Yeah,
you
we've
want it
got-
to fly off in a.
Yeah, you want to see them literally
you want
power
some
ball
ball
of
of flames,
flames,
top
right? Yeah,
end.
you want flames.
Yeah,
There was no There was a bit of smoke out of Alonso's car, and then
Yeah.
Lando locked up in the formation lap. That was the only smoke, I think. James wrote, "What the hell? What is happening with Williams?" Haas as well. And I
Yeah,
put,
you're just like looking at the back of the grid and like just how I don't know. I just feel like Williams I'm not that surprised about, but at the same time they've got a good car and Haas
Yeah.
as well. I just feel like they've just what's going on with them.
yeah, it just feels
They've-
like.
they've
Just
just
got to
both
make some
drivers.
changes.
That's what I'd
Yeah.
love though to put.
I wrote straight away as you read yours. I went shit car, shit drivers.
Yeah,
That's what I would love though to put. Like some of the top teams in those cars for like half a season and see what they could do.
Yeah,
Because if you put Hamilton in Haas car, I actually think Hamilton is the only one on that grid. Now I've watched it. I love Leclerc. I love Sainz. Russell's good. I actually think Hamilton is the only one that can actually give Max a run for his money if he's got the right car.
100%.
but what would you watch Formula One if? Let's imagine in a really weird world that Formula One said we're going to design our own car.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that's what
And
IndyCar is, isn't it? It's like you
Right.
get given a chassis and a power unit, and then everything else you can do, like the aerodynamics.
Like when you
the
go
brakes and
go-karting, you
Yeah.
get in the cars, their carts, and it's just up to you and
Yeah.
how much you weigh.
Or like bumper cars.
It would be boring though.
Would you not be tapping up Audi if you was old Danny Rick, like 2025, going, look, I'll come and drive that car for you.
Someone will, yeah. I mean, like, he was great yesterday.
Yeah. I think I wouldn't rule out him on the grid next year. I reckon there'll be a last minute after Mexico, and then we got 2 more races. I think if he has like a resurgence and he gets some more points, I think someone will go, look, do you just want to come and race for us? Like Haas, they haven't picked their second driver yet. Well, not publicly. We don't know if if I was Danny Rick, I'd be like going, yeah, I can't do any worse than Mick Schumacher.
But the only thing with him, in fairness, though, is like he's also not got the best reputation for staying put.
Yeah.
His history is not really like, he doesn't seem like he's ever that dedicated to a team.
How much do you reckon he regrets leaving Renault? I know he probably regrets leaving Red Bull, but how much do you reckon he regrets leaving Renault? Because he was winning.
Cyril as well. I like Cyril.
Yeah.
He is McLaren's only race winner for like the last 12 years as well. Danny Rick.
I think Danny Rick, like Keane said, I feel like he just loses interest quite quick, like in the season.
Yeah.
Like he's like the Aubameyang of F1.
He's just like hyperactive, isn't he? He's like, what's next? And he's just like, and I think he probably gets tapped up pretty easily as well.
It will be weird though if he's not on the grid next year, because he's a character.
He will be. There's not like after putting in that performance yesterday, although it was a pretty boring race, he was solid. Like,
he was the most exciting. He got a 10-second penalty and then kept his position. It was amazing. I was like, genuinely like, there's something exciting happening for the last 10 laps.
It was funny when Yuki went off. And you just saw him driving his car into the pit. He was like, what the fuck's going on? And then he drove into the pit, and it's like, they just looked at his car and they're trying to get the front off, and they're like, nah, mate.
Did you hear in practice as well when they said to Sainz about Nick De Vries, and then he thought he was saying about debris? He goes, what? Debris? He went, no, De Vries.
De Vries.
Debris Reese.
Sorry. Then I've got here, Latifi has passed a broken down Haas because Magnussen's gearbox was going all funny and he couldn't shift up. And then who's better, Latifi or Mazepin?
Who'd you have?
I would have Latifi over Mazepin, I think.
I just don't like Mazepin.
I would have them both in a team. That'd be brilliant. Them in a team, and they were like they got the best car, and you just put them in the best car.
Well, you'd save money with Latifi because he'd finish the race. The car wouldn't be a wreck every time.
Yeah,
that
Mazepin, he's a stick, mate. Absolute twat. That day,
he hasn't got to work.
Well, I went on to his Twitter
as well. When he goes, I went to school here. I know when I see those clouds come over, it's going to rain. So I told.
Yeah, they made a massive thing about that, didn't they? In Drive to
Survive. Hang on a minute, wasn't he right though? It did start raining.
He did. No, he got it right. But all he did was unlap himself.
Yeah.
He was absolutely right, but he just unlapped himself. He didn't get any higher up the thing. They went, great race today, mate. You didn't crash the car. So we were talking about Mazepin. Well, that's what I wanted to find out. So I went on his Twitter and see, what's he tweeting about?
The rain.
No, his last tweet was, today I'm announcing the creation of a new foundation to help athletes who have been blocked from competing for political reasons. # we compete as one. And that was the 9th of March 2022. And he's not tweeted since.
Maybe he's been drafted.
Yeah, maybe he has. I doubt it. But I can't believe, I thought he would have tweeted more. But apparently he's a DJ now.
Oh, okay, fine.
Yeah. He's just shit. Don't talk about him.
Yeah. And then at this point in the race, I said, remember when I texted the group saying this is Ferrari's weekend?
I don't know what they did this weekend. I just don't think they didn't care.
They weren't there. They didn't get any coverage apart from a pit stop. Yeah. That was it. There's the only time I saw him on the telly was a pit stop.
Who was it? Did you see that pit stop? I don't know who it was. The geezer. You know, you got to put the wheel on square. He was literally at the worst angle. He was going out and he was trying to drill it on with the gun. I was like,
I think that was Max Verstappen. I think he had a bad stop.
Well, he did. That's when he went terrific.
Terrific, guys. Fucking terrific. Stroll. I have no fucking grip, and he's such.
Well, that was the bit where the commentators were saying like, why even say that? That's just not helpful to the pit team. And actually, I just feel like a lot of the stuff that the drivers say isn't really that helpful at all. Yeah. I think that it should be a bit like football. You know, when footballers do something that's stupid and they just get fined. Yeah. I think if you make stupid comments over the radio, you should get a little fine or something. Yeah, they were all doing it yesterday. Alonso's thing is like, great season.
Yeah, where did that come from? Is like in the middle of the race.
I thought he was genuine. I thought, and then Ben was like, nah, he's pissed off. It's like that you just get mugged off over the radio constantly.
Yeah. Well, I think the engine had already started. By the looks of things, the engine had started sputtering, and he knew that it was going to blow, and he just pushed and then like just let it go.
I actually feel a bit sorry for Vettel now. Like he's got 2 races left and he's done, hasn't he?
Yeah,
Well, it's his decision. He could have
times.
stayed for probably another 5 years. He's been really good though, and he's been quite interesting. Like he's been racing well. Unlike Gasly this year.
Oh, he's been terrible, isn't he?
Oh, like last year he was like winning races, getting podiums and stuff. This year he's been 16th, like
I don't
continuously.
even think they showed him yesterday, like, at all.
I hate though that AlphaTauri car. I hate the look of it. I just hate it. Everything about
It
it.
looks exactly the same as the other cars. just
No, I
white.
don't. I just don't like the colour. The colours of it look so boring. Like I don't know. I just don't like it.
You like the red car, didn't you?
No, I
Ferrari
actually like the
guy.
Alpine. I like the Alpine.
Yeah, it's a nice car.
It's good. It's
not-
better than the
Ocon's
pink it
dropped
used to
off a
be.
bit. Ocon's dropped off a bit as well. He's not really been doing much recently.
Well, he meant, yeah. I think if Ocon and Alonso had traded places, I think Danny Rick would have struggled to get that 10 seconds ahead of him if it was
Yeah.
Alonso. Whereas
But
Ocon
Gasly
just
and
kind of went.
Ocon will be interesting next season.
Yeah, I think Alpine will probably struggle next season to sit anywhere because they're like it's just 2 nothing drivers that aren't exciting, don't take risks. They used to, like Ocon, like he used to like crash into everyone's car just to get ahead. Like he fucked up Verstappen to unlap himself once, like ruined Verstappen's
Checo.
chances. And Checo, yeah.
What is this guy doing?
Yeah, when
Go-
they
but,
were.
like, go on.
No, it's fine.
I was just going to go back to. Didn't want to drop the subject of Ferrari, but I don't even know there were how many laps were in yesterday. But they went to Plan C pretty quick on that radio.
Mate, there's loads of plans here, mate.
Nothing to lose.
And so we've got nothing to lose. It's like, what's happened in the last 20 minutes that you're on Plan C already, and you've got nothing to lose? Like, how many plans? I just don't understand.
They've got the whole alphabet of plans, them lot, haven't they? I want to just know what it is. Do you know what I mean?
How many plans would you have, Ferrari guy?
We should have a plan A and B and a C at absolute max, isn't it? They've got like E, F, D, H, I, J, K. It's a fucking joke.
Do you have when you're out on the night out? Do you have like plan A, B, C, and D?
What, when I'm out in London?
There's not enough letters in the alphabet for boys' plans.
Plan A is just go out and get drunk, and plan B is just be careful.
Box, Boyd, retire the chat up.
Get to the train station. The last train's at 8:30. Box. Yeah.
Well, who would you
Fenchurch.
have someone? Do you reckon you would ever like employ someone like as like a chat up engineer?
What,
Like this
on
in
a
your
night out?
ear. Let you go to plan C, Boyd. Go to plan C. Like that.
What
Would
is
you have
that?
someone like
Don't buy anyone. Don't buy anyone drinks. Go to.
she's
plan
out.
B.
She's out.
Yeah.
Change to the.
And then it doesn't work, and you have a go at them over the radio. Going, yeah, great night out, guys. Cheers.
Great season, guys.
That's exactly how.
And then you're going home in the back of a moped, all pissed off.
We've had to retire Boyd. He's pleasantly drunk. We've had to retire him. That's Ash, isn't it? You'd have to retire Ash.
Mate, he wouldn't even
Every
get to.
night.
He wouldn't get into formation lap.
No, he wouldn't.
And then at the start of every night, he has to start at the back from his like sort of
in the
penalties,
pit lane.
So he fucked up last
Yeah.
time. Like,
But he'd probably somehow end up lurking around the podium when everyone's celebrating. He'd be somehow the fourth.
Just
He'd
get the
come up
champagne.
like Max did on that car yesterday. He just can't licking his lips, going, "What am I doing?" And he'd be in the car,
Sitting in the
wouldn't
car, asleep.
Everyone's going, "How did he get it? How did this?"
Did you
who's this
imagine him
guy?"
sitting in that cockpit though? Like when he's quite small and tiny, and he's not even got his helmet on. He's just like licking his lips, looking at the little data. Like that sort of be hilarious.
At lap 22, it looked like it was Hamilton's race for me.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to do it.
Yeah, I was really, I like Hamilton. I think he deserves at least one win this season for like his hard work as a race driver. And at lap 22, I was like, fucking hell, they're going to mediums and they're going to go to the hards. And those hards, and the first laps with those hards, they're going, he's doing quicker than Verstappen. Then they just dropped off instantly, and they're just moaning about the tyre.
I fucking can't stand the hard tyre. I don't know why anyone like goes on it. I just stay off of it as much as you can. And the medium's probably your best one.
Well, in Singapore, they were on the hard tyre, and it was like absolutely smashing it because of the heat, and it kind of acted like a soft because it was like a lot stickier.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were like, yes, we're gonna do it. We're going to do it.
When you see them come into that pit down, you see them put those greys on or the whites, whatever colour it is. They come out, you're like, you're just going to lose loads of pace now. And you just know it. And then you see
well, they
everyone else
did. They lost
smashing
like 11 seconds. That pace to Verstappen dropped from. He was like they were matching him for 4 laps, and they're going. I was going, fucking hell. I think this hard tyre might be all right because it's going to last longer, and Verstappen might have to change. and then he just dropped off till they were like 12 seconds behind him. And then VSC came out, he got 14 seconds ahead because like it was so short, the virtual safety car, and he was going through the stadium at the safety car. It turned off as he got into the straight and just went off, and Lewis was
like
still
nothing good. Like even though normally you get a safety car, something you get a couple of them coming in the pits having another little tyre change. They're going back onto the softs or the mediums for the last like 15, 20 laps. You kind of go, yeah, it's going to get exciting, but nothing happened at all.
I sort of did want to see Verstappen for a while, like just behind other drivers, because that's when he's just at his best. Like, do you know what I mean? That like that's when he's. I mean, it's amazing that you can keep up that like performance, even just being ahead of everyone the whole time. But even when he drops back, he gets it back.
Well, he just pulls away. Like even that first lap into that first bend, he was away after 2 more bends. He was just so out in front. It's like, how is he doing that? Like,
it just feels like he's got like, he trusts that car enough to like push it that little bit harder. Whereas, because you know, Perez's car's pretty much exactly the same apart from the setup. Like he can't get that little extra out of that. You know, he can't rev it, hold the revs longer.
Like, fair play to him. Everyone goes, oh, he just cruised it again, which, he does every week. But he still has to stay out front and win the race and keep the car in good
Also, cruised it because it's the best. You can't cruise it unless you're the best.
And
it's just a bit annoying.
And the way he handled it, he was going like, my tyres are gone, like, they're dead. Please, like, let me stop. And he managed to get, like, to, I think, lap 25 before, like, on the softs. And they were going, the limit is lap 21. And he's got an extra +4 on that. So he that meant when he was on the mediums, he got that little bit extra in. But like he managed to hold it. I think other drivers would have struggled with that.
Well, Lewis always moans about his tyres, and you get Bono come on, and he goes, "Okay, Lewis, this is +6. We're going all the way on these."
Speaking of Bono, how jacked was Bono? Like he looked in his shirt, it looks like he was popping out of it.
Yeah. But I just think it is a bit annoying though, because that Mercedes does just lack that pace. It just can't keep up with that Red Bull. If you put Hamilton in another Red Bull car, he would match Max every week.
Yeah,
he would.
100%.
Which is just annoying, really. But we'll see. Maybe into next season, something will happen.
I think next season it's going to be closer.
Do you know what I'm just annoyed about? You know, last season I wasn't into F1 until I started this amazing podcast that everyone tunes into every week. I would have loved
since you become the Ferrari guy on a podcast.
I would have loved to have watched that last race start for the title with them two in Abu Dhabi. That would have been fucking unbelievable.
Yeah, I'd like to. I want to watch the full race, but you can't find it anyway. You only watch the highlights, which is kind of like I can imagine like that. Like, oh my god, they're letting the lap cars go through. Fuck, this is going to be really good,
mate. It would have been. You would have been on the edge of your seat, wouldn't you? And then they both started on the front grid. I think it was actually Max on pole, wasn't it? And then he was second. Then they passed him. And he had to give the place back, and like the whole thing was just. It would have been amazing to watch.
Yeah,
we've not really had that type of season. It's just not been that competitive.
It's just I mean, look, if Ferrari had sorted their shit out, it would have been a lot closer.
It looked at the beginning of the season like it was going to be Leclerc, Verstappen like going for it, and then Ferrari just threw it away.
Well, Leclerc was actually top of the table for like the first 6 races.
Yeah, because we've got a DNF from Max. Had a DNF and then like a 4th or something.
They got too many plans. That's the problem.
I know.
This is the plan should be plan A win, plan B,
plan A less plans, plan B. Joke, mate.
Max's radio though, he's so aggro on his.
Oh yeah.
He's sorry. Imagine. I just want to imagine what it would be like in another job. Like my Wi-Fi is fucking fucked.
Oh yeah.
Sort the Wi-Fi out, guys. What the fuck? Brilliant, guys. Brilliant.
I can't get my camera to work. Fucking camera.
How old is Max over the radio though, aren't they?
How old's Max? 23.
24.
Yeah, something like that. Have you seen the videos of him when he's a kid, like fixing his go-kart?
Have you seen him playing football on that like slidey thing in the garden? I'll send it to you. It's hilarious. He looks like such a rat doing it. Like it's like, mate, you drive F1 cars, you look like tall playing that football. So funny.
Sainz had a shit stop. I think Sainz had the 11-second stop. I think.
Yeah, he was the one where they didn't put the tyre on straight and it was all fucked.
I think and they struggled to get one off. But then like that was the only time I saw Ferrari. The whole race was that. How does that feel, Ferrari guy?
It'd be funny if they put 2 hard tyres on the rear and then a soft on the right front and a medium on the front left. And
well, they've done that before, and they've done that.
Yeah.
Haas did that, didn't they?
Haas did it, didn't they? They put the wrong tyres on. But imagine you had 4 sort of different tyres.
Yeah, I think. Well, let's just say when after that, Hamilton's on the hard looking for the win. Russell's also looking for the win or the one stop. Like I think. You know,
Russell
like
loves these little last minute soft tyre.
Quick, give me the soft, give me the soft. No,
Come on, guys, let's get on the softs. It's like,
No, mate, what are you doing? The race is basically finished.
No, but he
Point
likes
is-
to get the extra point, doesn't he?
Yeah,
which he did do.
Fastest
But,
lap.
he's
like
got to be
if-
gutted. He didn't get like.
yeah.
He should have got on the
yesterday.
podium, really, shouldn't he?
Yeah.
Russell versus Hamilton next year will be good, I think, because they're both going to be. They're going to have the car, I think, a better
Let's
car.
hope so. It just looks like it's lacking pace.
Do you think Russell would roll over like Bottas?
No.
I don't think he would.
No,
Like,
I don't
I
think
think
he
it's a
would,
win.
but
He
I think
got-
he'd be his own worst enemy. I think he'd just be. I think it would get to him. I think
You
he'd
reckon?
just.
Yeah.
Well, he just throws his toys out the pram a bit too quick, doesn't he? He doesn't. Sometimes he doesn't seem that composed like he needs to be.
Like I said
And
last
that's
week, he
experience,
was crying. Yeah,
Yeah.
he is. It always looks like he's just about to cry or he's just cried,
Yeah.
like glassy eyed.
When he got his point for Williams. Emotional day.
We got that point. Man.
Fair play, though. He's good in the wet, and he's good in that. He was good in that Williams car in the wet.
He's a good driver. I think for in the last 14 races, I've gone from thinking yes, George Russell's awesome to really not liking George Russell at all.
I don't not
think
like
he's-
him. I think he's a very good driver, and I was actually like, he's very good. And then the last, like you said, 10 races or 8 to 10, I feel like he's dropped off a bit like Checo has though. Like everyone has their little.
Well, Checo's
run.
come up. Checo kind of rides that thing.
Well,
He's
no,
won
at
a
one
couple
point
of races.
Checo was like, everyone was like, "What is going on here?" Max must have been going, "He's literally challenging me for the title. Like this is annoying me." But then
He's
it
still
just-
won. He's won like, was it 3 this year? Checo,
He's won
2 or
2.
3.
Yeah,
Russell hasn't won yet. James put, who do you reckon the first person Russell calls after a race is?
Russell.
Yeah, who do
I
you
think
reckon
the first
he rings?
person he rings
His
up.
mum.
Like,
You reckon his mum? What does
So
he say to that?
I think it's something weird, like his yoga teacher or something.
I said
he's
it's his
something-
watch guy.
Back's hurting after
Yeah.
that one. Needs to see it. Here's a question then as well. If yesterday Max is up front, there's a couple of laps left to go. Checo's second. Would Max let him through and win the Mexico Grand Prix on his home turf, or does he just want to
I
be
reckon
greedy
he
and
would.
get more wins?
If it depends how close it was. I don't think he'd like break down to like 5 seconds,
No.
and let him through. I think if it was like
Because that would have been pretty cool, wouldn't it? If he went out, just go by, mate, go and I'll hold him up
Yeah.
and win.
Yeah.
Like, that would
Yeah,
have been
it would have
quality.
had to have been tight for him to go on. Like he isn't gonna.
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
think
he's got the
he's
record now, hasn't he? 14 wins is the most in the season.
I reckon he'll get.
Yeah,
I
you
reckon
see
he'll
him
win the next
on
one.
the radio. Went, yeah, guys, 14 wins. Yeah,
Not bad, guys. Yeah, not bad.
That's 14 wins. That's really good. But Perez's dad, for me, was like a meme of that diabetes guy. His dad was just all over the place. Like every video that's come up on Instagram today is of Perez's dad doing something like wacky. We're like shaking cans of Red Bull on people, throwing, holding confetti, and then just like letting it drop. Like it's like he'd never been to a race before.
Have we got a game today?
Yeah.
What?
We get to it.
Oh,
We
yeah,
get to it.
yeah,
We've
we've
got
got a
games
game,
been
man.
going on.
yeah.
We did right. So Danny Rick was amazing. I'll just we got like eight on. We got
Yeah,
2 more
it's what
pages
happens
to
when
notes. So
two
let's
people
just
contribute.
yeah. This is what happens when it gets proper contribution. We were going to do a bit about.
Have you got my notes in there? Is there a game?
Is there a game? Want to see right? Danny Rick in the points. I'm going to skip to Danny Rick, and then we'll go from there. All I put was not a lot. You've put not a lot has happened in the last like 50 of 71.
And then straight away, Yuki drives
Yeah.
over Danny Rick as soon as I said that.
What the fuck is going on? And then I voted for Danny Rick to win, and then I noticed that they've made Lewis Hamilton's picture slightly blacker than he actually is on the vote website, which is weird.
That does look weird.
It does look weird. And then Danny Rick is on a charge. He managed to get a 10-second ahead of Ocon and still stay in 7th after getting a 10-second penalty for smashing Yuki off the thing.
I can't believe Sonoda only gets. I know I'm saying only, but he gets 750 grand a year.
Better than you do, mate.
Wow, 50k more. No, but I'm just saying, mate. That's like all the others are on like. Ricardo gets more than Leclerc and Sainz, doesn't he? But he's been around.
Well, yeah, he
longer,
just
hasn't
got paid off as well for not having to do next season. So he's just got 22 million for this
That
season.
might lead us
take
quite
some-
nicely into the debate. Actually, that we were talking about
Oh,
yeah.
wages.
Yeah,
nice.
we've
know
done
what the
Alonso's
debate
moped.
Nope, no
Mercedes
one
could
told me.
claim second, and then I think Russell going for fastest lap we'll end it there.
Yeah.
And it's like he He's like, I'm going to get fastest lap, change
Fair
his
play,
tyres.
though. He does get it. He always comes in with literally 1 lap to go. He gets someone who didn't even get to do 2 laps on the soft tyres and see if he can better it. He just gets the tyres, does 1 lap and goes,
What
"I've
a
got the
waste
fastest
of
lap."
tyres. Because what do they do with those tyres after they finish them? They just like throw them away. They become, actually, they sell them on F1.
They make tables out of them, don't they?
Yeah, they make tables out
That
of them.
video I sent you guys probably didn't watch it, but there's a company that gets all the like brake. They get all the parts that are going to be thrown away. They make like ornaments and shit out of it. Like I'm sure they make tables out of
Christ,
tyres.
everyone must have a lot of Latifi in there.
F1 Authentics, it's called, I think.
Imagine that your mate comes round and you go, yeah, that's Latifi's wheel, that what we're eating off. and that lamp. And that
It looks
picture.
brand. It looks like brand new, unused. Yeah.
Have you got any other drivers sort of like merch? No, it's just
Yeah, and then everything falls off the table onto the
yeah,
floor.
yeah.
Like, for
Then the
fuck's
table
sake.
breaks, the lamp goes off. Who's your gas and electric supply with, Latifi? Latifi Energy.
What an embarrassment. But he did complete the race, Latifi.
Well done.
We should get a point for that, I think.
Wow.
And as we said, Verstappen has just broken Hamilton's record for total points in a season and total wins in a season, which is really good. But yeah, that was the race.
2 more races left.
Good bit of news, that. Bang on 45 minutes. Lovely. Just enough
really
time
long
for the
news,
debate
actually.
and the game. Keenan, did I remember you saying I need a pen and a pad for the game and I haven't got one?
Well, it might help. Or some way of writing some notes.
Wait, I've just got to come and grab
Pad.
the pen and pad quickly. Hang on.
Pen.
Right. We might have to have quite a quick debate.
Yeah. I mean, if it goes over a little bit, I've got to meet
Oh,
Joe
well,
at
be the-
7, but it's fine.
Nothing better to do, have we?
No.
Here we go.
Right, so the debate that me and Ben came up with, we'll get your opinion
We're doing the
first,
debate
boys.
first.
Oh,
Is that not what
don't
you-
mess with the. It's the game first. Let's do the game.
We normally do the game
It's
first.
the
and
game
debate's
first.
The last.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
So I've
Stop
been
changing the
given.
rules, James.
I don't fucking know. No one tells
I've been
me
given.
anything.
Do you want to get back on this show one day or not? You got to prove yourself.
Just wheel me out whenever Brad's along
I'm not
the way.
listening to you or anybody. Right.
I've got.
Right.
I've been given some media.
Yeah,
that I
I'll
need to play.
explain. I'll explain this in a second, right? So, boys, I know you're not feeling very well, so you might not be in the mood for this, but I will. Right. So this is it's a scenario I'm going to give you, right? And then there's a challenge, right?
What, me
And obviously-
personally?
No, both of you, right?
Right.
And there's going to be no winner this week. Brad's going to decide the winner when he gets back on a few facts. I'm sure Brad will listen to this while he's walking around Disneyland.
Yeah.
And he's going to decide the winner who's back. So it's a scenario, right? And I'll read it out. So it's Halloween, and there's
Should I
a
put
knock
the
on the
music
door.
on? Should I put the music on?
No, the music's for not yet, right?
Okay.
Ben, stop ruining the.
Welcome to James's game.
Right, it's Halloween. There's a knock on the door. You open up the door and you expected to meet trick or treaters, but once you lock eyes with the person at the front door, you're terrified. Ben, you tell your family to run upstairs and lock themselves in the bathroom. Boy, there's nobody at your flat, so it doesn't matter. It's William Story. It's William Story. He's at your door. The founder of Rich Energy Drinks. He's at your door, right?
Yeah.
And he says, I've heard you've been slagging me off on your podcast, but I like your honesty and I need your help. Right, so you let him in and he tells you that we haven't got any cans of Rich Energy Drink left, but we've got some interest to relaunch and I need someone to head up the launch. Right, and he goes, I think Williams are interested, but they don't want to talk to me anymore because of the way I look. Right, so he basically offers you a job for a year for 500 grand, right? But he can only give it to you or Ben, not both. So there's a competition here, right? So he says, by the morning, I want you to send me a pitch for Rich Energy Drink in the form of an advert, and then whoever does the best one gets the 500 grand a year job and helps me get Rich Energy Drink back on the market, right? So you've both got to do, well, like, come up with an advert now, right? And I'm going to tell you, I've looked up online what makes a good advert. So this is the bit you should probably write down and make sure you cover when you come up with your advert, right? So a good advert is clear and concise. You identify and address the target audience. You identify the problem that the target audience faces and how the product solves it. You give a practical example of how it solves it. You root the pitch in facts and data, which is probably not what Rich Energy Drink usually do. and you've got to communicate a call to action. So what does somebody need to do next? Right. So you've just got to come up with an advert now, covering those 6 points, and then when Brad comes back, he'll score you on each one who did each one better, and then he'll give you a total score. But I have sent Ben some background music for the advert.
Yeah.
So he's going to play it. Boyd, you're going to go first.
Mate, I don't know what I'm going to say.
Well, no, it's the whole point.
Think on his feet, mate.
You've got to think on your. I've just given you a list of things you've got to cover, but you've got to do it in the style of an advert. If you want this job with Rich Energy Drink for $500,000 a year, if not, you're back on the C up to London, and on whatever you're on now. Opportunity of a lifetime.
This is ridiculous.
And he's in your house as well, so you can't say no. You want to get rid of him. Right. So Ben, who wants to go first?
I'll go.
Right. So Ben, I've sent you 2 background tracks for the advert. You pick whichever one you want, and then you take it away.
This is mental. This is too quick. It's going to be a disaster. But
That's the whole point.
Is this playing? It's not playing now. Rich Energy Drink. It's energy and a drink. Racing. Winners. Winners. Racing. Drink Rich Energy. British Premium Energy Drink.
That it?
was that it?
That's it.
All right.
Mate, it's better than anything they've ever done before.
All you got to do is beat Boyd. So.
Yeah, but I thought he was going to tell a bit more of a story or something.
No, he didn't do it. So this is your opportunity to take the points.
Fine. I want a decent background then.
You got a different tune. It's just good
Give us a
though.
load.
Don't worry about it. And I think it's got a soft start, and I think it kicks in. So you might want to wait for the kick in to do the main bit.
Right.
Ben's going to play it.
It's playing.
This is ridiculous.
It is playing. Is it playing?
I think it might have a bit of a quiet start.
I'm just listening to it. No, it's not. It doesn't want to play. You might have to use the same one.
All right.
All right.
Same song.
Tired of being the same old knackered? Rich Energy Drinks are coming your way. Smooth cruising through that local high street where people are tired. They need energy. They need boost. It's practical. It's local. It's in the stores. And it's affordable. Get out there and get your Rich Energy Drink. Shaped like of an F1 car. 0 to 60 in 1 second. Shocking.
Very good. I like the American accent as well.
Oh, mate, that was just... I'd
Is it
imagine
shaped
that...
like an F1 car?
No, I was just going to do a can that had wheels on it and drove through a local high street and people were tired.
Oh, that was your
and they-
idea for the... Didn't you ever come up with that idea on the podcast?
No, it was
Oh,
people
right.
tired for a town and a Rich Energy car comes through with all this, but looks like a can.
Like Red Bull used to do with the minis.
Yeah, a little bit like that. Yeah. You should have done that
So
with
they
your
are the
one, mate.
closest competitor.
Brad will listen to that and he'll score you individually on
He'll
the
pick
6
Boyd,
factors.
I think. I just
It's
said
5-5
words.
as well at the moment.
Well,
Yeah,
no,
it's
but he
fun.
won't just say each of you won. He'll probably give you some actual critical feedback, I'm sure, knowing Brad. So
He'll just say it was shit on both our parts, isn't he? He's like fucking business.
only one of you can get the job working for Rich Energy Drinks. So
Yeah.
I thought I sold it in better. I feel like you'd sort of trust me more with my little line.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's affordable. Go and
I
get yourself
think
a-
I think
Ben, you
Rich
just said the
Energy
same
guy.
thing twice. You went Rich Energy for drinks and energy.
No, I said winners. Winners.
You done that right,
Racing
didn't you?
winners racing.
Oh, I know
Over
that
it.
it gives you fucking whatever.
Gives you a boulder.
I know it gives you energy when you drink a lot.
Warning. Rich energy drink may cause baldness.
yeah.
After that as
or a
well,
giant
I would
beard.
after that pitch, I would instantly kick Rich Energy Drinks man out of my house though and go, "You need to leave now because you're weird." Bye.
Well, he'd just go, you haven't got a front door, so I'll just walk in.
Ben
just
can
booted
be-
it in with his-
Oh, Ben can call his family back downstairs. Go, he's gone. He's gone.
Who
Ben's
was that
family-
man?
Ben's family wouldn't be scared. They'd just think,
Daddy,
it's one
who
of
that
Ben's
man
weird
with
mates.
beard? I don't know.
So is he back
Right,
round
what's the
again?
debate then? What's the
Right.
debate?
Did
Right,
you not?
the
We
debate.
told you the debate.
7 minutes. I didn't get told
I
anything.
literally
No, we're not
texted
going to
in
end
group.
dead on an hour, mate.
Whatever.
It's fine.
We-
It'll be
retell.
quick. It'll be a quick debate, right? We'll go straight to Boyd. So, Boyd, do you think Drive to Survive, the show, has and is going to influence how teams think about their seats and the drivers and their recruitment? So,
What with the footage and what they see
so,
on
so
the
they
show.
know now that whoever they put in that seat is getting exposure like they wouldn't before. We're three
Yeah, I know what
examples
you
of
mean,
that. Maybe not Ben so much, but certainly I never followed Formula One until I saw it. My wife watches it, and my sister-in-law watches it, and my brother-in-law watches it. I know so many people watch it because of that show, and they always say, "Oh, I love Danny Rick." You know, they're like that. They love those personalities. So do you think it's something that the teams think about now when they recruit? It's a consideration.
Yeah, I think obviously there's a fine line, but you have to pick a good driver, like Piastri, for instance. I have no idea who this geezer is coming in next season. Don't know anything about him. He's probably a really good driver, but character and personality-wise, you've got to get you just want a good balance. Like, for instance, Lando Norris really is a perfect example because he is a good driver, and out of Drive to Survive and in Drive to Survive, he's a very big character and does a lot of the socials and marketing, so he's quite important for the teams as well. So I think, as well as they need to be good at the driving, I'd say it's probably 80-20, well, 70-30 split maybe of them having to be a big character in Drive to Survive as well. Because if you get people watching and they don't know anything about F1, which I sort of didn't, you then pick who you like and your characters, and then you support them every week. Yeah. But obviously, you could support a driver who's a good character who's shit and crashes every week, and that can then be frustrating. And obviously, if you're the team principal, you're like, fuck's sake, why? You know, I don't know. It's a weird one, isn't it?
Do you think that? I think that might have been a reason why McLaren offered Daniel Ricciardo a seat when he'd just been.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah, 100%.
He's great. We've got like McLaren's drivers before Danny Rick joined, apart from Carlos Sainz. Well, Carlos Sainz and Lando Norris. That season before, they had their drivers were like nobody. Like, who were they?
Yeah,
Alonso,
you didn't know they were.
And he retired, and then it was like just some guy.
Yeah,
I think George Russell's a prime example. Very good driver, but on Drive to Survive, he wasn't really much of a character, was he? You wouldn't go, oh...
He was ignored, wasn't he? But
if I said who's your top 3 or 4 drivers, you wouldn't go, oh, George Russell. Maybe because he's British, like English or whatever, you might say that. But you would naturally go Verstappen, Checo, like Leclerc, Sainz, like name all these other drivers. You know what I mean? So it's a tough one, really.
I think it's going to... Well, my view is, I think, it's the same with anything now, is that people kind of need a social presence, like a social media presence, and Formula One drivers seem to be some of the biggest, have the biggest followings, and all they do is post like they're super rich, how super rich they are, I won the race today, guys, or bad race today, guys.
Yeah,
it is important, I think, but I don't think it will influence the bigger teams. I don't think it will influence Red Bulls. It won't influence the Mercedes or like it will.
But then I think as an example, not drivers, just all F1 on that Drive 5, right? Christian Horner is the bollocks. He's up there. He's number one, and he's up there with Toto and all that. But on Drive to Survive, Steiner for me steals the show. But he's nowhere near as good as Horner is. Do you know what I mean?
And
but
that's why I think the smaller teams with the smaller budgets will have to kind of rely on getting those names, getting drivers that will have a social following or can build a social following, because they can then use that to sell to sponsors. Whereas Ferrari, Red Bull, and Mercedes don't need to, because they are like, the reason they've got the money is because they are the best, and then everyone else kind of needs to follow, and they can get that through sponsorship. Well, look at McLaren, like they've got like the biggest crypto exchange are now their main sponsor because of like maybe.
But look at what's his name? Groves. I can't say his name. What's his name? Man on Fire.
Grosjean.
Yeah, Grosjean. That's it.
I love how you know him from his episode title.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
Point.
Not a very good driver. Crashed that car every week. Steiner used to go fucking apeshit him, but in Drive to Survive, he was actually quite a good character because he crashed every week, and you saw the drama unfold.
He was pathetic and miserable all the time. Yeah, crying.
You're trying to compare an entertaining show.
I think
it's Drive.
It's probably given Haas a couple of extra years in Formula One. If anything, their inclusion in that series has given people like more like, oh well, your car gets loads of screen time on Netflix. That's free advertising. That's why
because of Steiner, a lot of it, because like we love him because of his character. So maybe it's even something that they consider when they put a principle in place. It's like they want them to have a certain personality because they've got to be camera ready, they've got to be kind of media trained, although they already are. You saw how like Steiner would get so pissed off, or like, and Horner does it as well, get so pissed off having to do the interviews, but actually that's going to become more of a thing for them. So it's a bit like when football teams sign players. Sometimes they sign players and they'll go, oh, they're going to sell a shitload of shirts. You know, maybe they're like 37 on the verge of retirement, but actually they're going to pay for themselves because people will just, eyes will be on our team, people might follow us. It probably will end up being like that because I don't know what the increase is in people that watch Formula One, because that show it's got to be something silly.
In the last 5 years, tracks like races have been selling out on like practice days. And then like before it was like they were empty on practice days. No one went to the practices. Now
that's kind of why I think Danny will have a seat next year. I just think people would just take him. Just like Danny Rick.
Danny
Wait,
Rick.
Danny. I feel like
does anyone else
Steiner,
call
though,
him Danny Rick, or is it just us that call him Danny Rick?
I never used to call him it until
you call him Danny Rick, and I started
I'll call him Danny
you.
Rick. Yeah.
Like, oh, my mate, Danny Rick.
Rico.
Danny Rick.
Ricardo.
Danny Rick is...
Well, he is apparently the second biggest name in F1 behind Lewis Hamilton. Well, and probably Max now.
But because I'd say because of that show, because of the way he is, he's like out there, isn't he? And people enjoy it. And it's also like when I watched Senna again recently, it really reminded me of Drive to Survive, the way it is, and obviously that's a pretty old documentary now.
Is it the same?
But actually,
is it the same people that made it, like the same production?
I think it is, yeah. But I'd never seen it before, and then when I watched it, I was like, oh, all this footage that you're seeing, no one ever would have seen that at the time, right? So even then, those racers like Mansell's and Senna's, everyone loved them, but they didn't really know that much about their personality. Now everybody does. You know exactly what they're like, and I think it must be a factor when they're thinking about, you know, who we going to bring on. Like, have they got that right personality to represent us in front of the cameras more than what would probably be normal?
Yeah, and the rookies for next season, because this year there wasn't any rookies, was there? Oh, Joe Guan Yu was the only rookie this season.
Yeah, and
I think he's like better than most. He's better than most of the rookies from the year before.
Shit car though, that's the problem.
Alpha. So I think so we're not going to know about the personalities of the new drivers for another year, really, because we're only going to see them on race days and in a few interviews here and there. But yeah,
Max will be in the next series. He's just not going to.
Oh yeah, he's going to be because the next season's going to be.
Yeah, but he doesn't want to be in it. He won't be in it, will he? He said he doesn't want to.
Sports, is it? It's
Drive to Survive.
Oh yeah,
because the last series he just wasn't in it at all, was he?
You know that guy?
No, because he got pissed off because they were taking.
He said they were twisting it a bit.
Well, they do
take
it
it out
every
of order, don't
TV
they?
show. They edit it so it makes it look like something it's not, and they embellish things. I think it's fair to say. And I think he just called them out on that. And he's like, I think he was like, it looked like he was criticising, and it was from a completely different time. So he's like, oh fuck, I'm not doing this.
There's a really funny YouTube channel actually, or I think it's Instagram or YouTube channel called Drive to Survive Logic. And it's just where everything's wrong. Like someone's watched it and gone, that's the wrong race, that's the wrong time. There's one where they like talk about, and as the sun sets in Singapore, and it's like, that's the sunset in Baku. Like it's like completely mental, which like it takes you out of it. And now, like last season, I only watched like 3 or 4 races all the way, like on the weekends, because I just wasn't that interested. This year, obviously, with this, I've watched so much more, and I think watching this season on Drive to Survive after literally.
Watching it
we have like proper scrutinised this season. We've watched every moment. It's going to be really weird watching it and going, that didn't happen like that. That didn't happen like that. You've told that story wrong. So it'd be weird to see it from a real fan's point of view, because I listen to the odd podcast about Formula One, and I go, these people hate Drive to Survive. Like real fans hate it because it's like it's not real. It's the Kardashians.
Yeah. But the other people that are Drive to Survive fans, like I know a few, and I'm going to watch the race on Sunday night. They're like, you're going to watch the race? They can't believe that I'd actually sit and watch the whole race, because they just think, well, you could just watch the show and you could get it all.
Yeah, like it's a highlights reel. It's
two of my mates watched it and they said, we're going to make an effort and try and watch at least half the races this season. I was like, you're never going to fucking do that. And then I watch it and I watch every single race now. It's mad. I mean, it has got a little bit boring. It has got a bit boring the last couple because it's just over and done and dusted.
Over and done, isn't it?
But my wife watches it with me. The kid, like Donnie, will sit and watch it with me, and they're like, he loves Max Verstappen just because like I say Max Verstappen so many times when I'm watching. Fucking Max Verstappen.
You've got tissues at home, mate. Sort of, getting excited. Quick one though. Obviously, the only good thing is with the season coming to an end now. I'm guessing as soon as that last race is done, they'll start editing the fuck out of that.
They've already started editing it, mate.
They've done it already.
Yeah.
Well, because they could have already filmed quite a few shows.
They probably filmed each one as it's gone each week and then edit it.
Well, they don't do it. Well, that's the logic again. Like they kind of build the stories out of like a whole, like 6 or 7 races, and then they make it feel like one race.
Ben, are you on your computer now? Can you Google when the new Drive to Survive's out?
It's got March.
It's March.
Yeah.
All right, fine.
Early
I
March.
don't think they know exactly when, but it's definitely March. So there's a bit of a break.
Yeah.
Sweet.
And then 'cause it starts at the beginning of the season, I think, but they like fly for it. But
yeah.
Well, thank you, James, for taking on the mantle
special guest,
resident
special
as
guest.
a Keenan. I thought it was a really fun podcast. Like we say every week, if you're going to review it, give it 5 stars.
Or Ferrari guy, come on.
Ferrari guy, was
This
he any
one's
good this
Ferrari
week, or was he better last
Be
week?
more specific about why you like Boyd.
Be more
You've got a name,
specific
by the
with
way,
your
it's Boyd.
feedback.
Yeah, let me know. Give me some feedback. Drop it in the bar at the bottom. You know, whatever, and give us a good
Go
rating.
and do a COVID test, Boyd.
No, I'm fine, mate. I just had a bit of fucking.
Cheers, guys.
Everybody has a target on their backs next year.